Okay. We're gonna do the regular format a little bit, right? And then Jasmine, we're gonna do your segment. We're gonna do news you can use.
News first, right?
No, we're gonna do catch up first.
And then news, and then my segment.
And your news and your segment. I got some other stuff to talk about. I got a couple of shout outs to think. And then we just go into the regular topic stuff.
Shout out?
Yeah. So that'll be that. So then, with the music, our new music today. Y'all know how we used to start, like the start of summer. The start of summer. What is the song that we that everybody used to listen to? The start of summer. That song come on, and it's like, oh, summer starting. I gotta guess. I don't know. Well, y'all don't have to. I have the artist for our intro song, and she's back, and I want y'all to listen to that.
Not her first summer jam.
Yes. We ready, Spider?
Oh yeah, we're good.
You good, Jasmine? Donnie?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
All right.
You ready?
Yep. 3, 2, and 1.
The way your lips feeling tonight, the way they pressed against mine.
Welcome back. So Here's the Thing podcast, where we have
real conversation
and real transparency.
Yes. Got guests?
I'm Harry.
No.
More than friends we could be.
No. Hey, Marie. This is her new cut. Yes, feel that as we slide up in here.
I heard she was coming back.
We back, guys. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
The sweet melodies of A. Marie. It's called Mine.
Fading out the wrong track.
Thanks, Spider. Well, we back, guys. We are here.
It's been a minute.
We made it.
Yes, we are here. Okay, so at the top of the show, I'm just going to do some housekeeping stuff real quick.
All right. Come on.
So we can get through it. All right. And so since we were last here in February, right? Okay. Yep. Wow. And so now it's April, almost at the end of April. And so if some of our listeners may have noticed recently that some of our episodes were deleted from our Spotify. And our most recent episode, which was after a while, right? And so we're going to be changing up some of the way like we do music here on the podcast. And so you're going to have a different feel to kind of how we do the show, even for this one. And but we'll get used to it. Change is good. We had a good run with using the content. Yeah. The idea of using music on the show is obviously we are all music lovers. Some of us sing, not Jasmine.
I sing,
but
I sing. Give me a tune.
Give me a beat. Just kidding. And it was always, at least for me, putting together the show, it was always the excitement of picking the music, knowing kind of all of our taste in music and trying to bring that together, plus what the audience may like. If you've been with us for any amount of time, we know we have our music playlist that we would have every season. And so it was always a part of our show, from the beginning. Because of our love for music. So we just have to change some things up a little bit, to keep bringing these episodes to y'all. Otherwise, you're going to be staying at home, okay?
Yeah.
So nobody got time.
We'll adjust. We're adjusting.
But we will. But we're back now. It's been a minute, but we're here. Life has definitely been running through, while we've been gone. So let's catch up. Let's just jump right into it. And Jasmine,
what's new?
Do your thing. What's new?
What is new with me? There's a couple of things. So where do I want to start? I went on a cruise with my mom
okay.
and Anitra and her mom.
Oh, yes.
It was fun. So we went to the Bahamas. Okay. It was a nice trip. It was my first mother-daughter trip. I've traveled with my mom before, but with another mom and daughter duo.
Now, was this something y'all just thought of, or?
So both of our moms' birthdays they're in March. And so Anitra's mom wanted to go to the Bahamas.
Yes.
I was like, well, might as well go with my mom too. So we kind of tagged along and we had a really, really good time. Now I will say, Georgie is a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She asks a lot of questions.
told
she
you
gonna,
that.
she gonna worry you a little bit.
Right. We've been telling you this.
Okay. Welcome to the party.
Yes. She gonna worry you a little bit, but she's fun. She likes to hang, and she will hang. And I'm like, even when I'm like, okay, mom, you gonna go to the room or you gonna do your thing? She was out with us. She was at the club.
The club.
She out there doing the line dancing.
Yes, boots on the ground.
Woo, we don't talk about the boots on the ground. They're off the. No more boots. I think the boots are done. I don't know.
I like the boots.
I do too, but it was just.
It's too much.
It was a lot on that ship.
Oh, I can imagine. It's probably line dances.
Every time I turned around, it was a boot. And maybe I'm just hating because
like enough.
Yes.
Do you know how to do it?
Well, when I was trying to learn, that's when the police got called on me.
Wait, what?
I told y'all about my neighbor calling the cops.
Oh, okay.
When we were trying to learn them line dances.
Yes.
It was 3:00 in the morning.
No. You got to back me up. I don't remember that.
Oh, well, it was 3:00 in the morning. We were very drunk. We started with the Tamia line dance.
On the cruise?
No, this is back at my house, in my apartment.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying. I didn't learn the line dance. And so maybe that's why I'm being a little salty about these boots. But yeah, so the cruise was cool. That's probably going to be maybe one and done for me.
Was your
y'all
first
was for
one?
a long time though.
It was too long.
So how long? How many?
It was 5. I think 5 days.
That's a lot.
So you did 4 nights.
Yes. It was 4 nights too many. I was ready to get up off that.
What's the ideal? What will be the ideal for someone? Not that I'm ever interested in going on a cruise.
3 for me.
That sounds like too long. Is it not like no weekend cruise?
No, that is a weekend cruise essentially. But I think 3 is good, and make sure you have a bigger boat. That boat, we was on a little tugboat.
Now, wait a minute.
I turned around and I'm on the back of the boat. I look this way. I'm at the port or whatever it's called. I'm like, there was kids running around.
No, not y'all had a catamaran.
Yes, there were.
Which cruise line was it?
Carnival.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? I think because we from Miami to Bahamas. I think I don't know what cruise it was or what ship, but I can't remember the name of it. But it was small and it was packed with kids.
Oh no!
And lots of lines. Every time I turned around, there was a line.
No.
And there wasn't a line for drinks though.
Well, I guess not. When I was them kids on the damn shit.
Right, but my thing is like you got to feed me, otherwise we gonna be overboard. You know what I mean? Like I can't keep consuming all this liquor and there's no food. So I wasn't really happy with the food. That sucked. The entertainment was the entertainment. It's cheesy, but it's meant to, just it be that. You know, so you go and you watch Deal or No Deal, or you have the family karaoke session where everybody's in the middle and we all singing Boys to Men. And
not End of the Road.
Yes.
End of the road.
On the boat. Okay.
Right.
No.
And the cruise director reminded me of Corey with his big booty.
Jasmine.
What? In his tight pants.
Please.
Every time he was tight pants.
What is you doing? What is happening?
I'm just saying. He was you and you were him. I think he had nice eyebrows and everything. I was like, look at Corey.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course. So yeah, that was the cruise. That was fun.
Probably look nice today too.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I see him.
Yeah. You can see him under this hat.
Yeah, I do.
Hey, great.
I like that. Yeah.
What else has been going on?
Now, where were you in proximity to this cruise ship that had all the water at the bottom of it? Like that was in the ocean too. Like y'all out there on these cruise ships.
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, it happened.
It did.
Them people
recently?
were being swung around here to there. Okay.
Oh, you know what? That probably happened after because there was a big storm. After we got off that boat, the Lord knew.
They were in it.
Get me out of here. Yeah, no, we didn't get caught.
No.
What else has been going on? So I don't know if you guys take account of like certain seasons or cycles in your life, but March and April for me are always filled with like endings. You know what I mean? So it's always kind of like this weird period. I can probably count on more than my five fingers, like breakups or just some sort of ending or change. And it always happens in March and in April.
So what's been the change this time?
Well,
Go on and tell it.
Yeah, you be in like fake relationships. There's just, what's been the change this time? An ending of a fake relationship, I'll say.
I'm about to say, because we ain't heard. Have you heard about a relationship?
No, and what's a fake relationship? What does that look like? Please tell us.
We're not really in a relationship.
Okay, what are y'all doing?
crushing on each other and stuff?
Well, no.
Punching.
This is the one when I was like, unblock me.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So that ended. Corey.
That's right. That did end.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'm also, and I think I want to talk about this one day on the mics. I don't know if we need to make it a topic, but my relationship with my therapist is ending.
Let's go. We can do it right now.
Yeah, I haven't communicated that to her, so I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to, send that breakup text, or if it needs to be a phone call. I don't know what to do. Like we don't. I feel like we should have talked about this prior to. I think in the beginning when you're doing your getting to know, I think there should always be like, okay, well, let's talk about
when it's time to part ways.
Yeah.
How we're going to do
looks.
that.
Yeah.
Right. Because now we done built a whole relationship with one another. You know what I'm saying? She's almost my longest relationship in this bitch. And I'm just like, oh my God. I don't know how to
understand.
honestly. And I told her that.
I understand.
And I felt some type of way about that. And I told her, I was like, I feel some type of way that you are, close to probably one of my
Most
longest relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not my friends, obviously,
Right.
but
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't like that.
Yeah.
So I said, I got to get up out of here. Like, I know as toxic as it may be,
I get it.
that's not the only reason. Obviously, I feel like I'm healed, I'm cured. But yeah, so like that ending, it's just always changed. But a lot of them are breakups. Like my divorce was finalized in April of whatever year that was. Like there's just been plenty of things. Before that, it was cinnamon stick. Before that, it was like just people and things ending. So yeah.
Yeah.
But it
I
feels
just be ready to
good.
get-
It seems like
Well,
this
because
time.
you're smiling about it.
Yeah.
Well, it feels because we coming up out of it. But you know what? And that's another reason why I know that I'm ready to end that relationship with my therapist is because of the way that I've been handling certain things. So I don't look at the loss as a loss anymore. Like before, it might have devastated me or just really just took me out. It doesn't feel like that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel lighter now. So I'm like, okay, so this is, you're gone, you're out. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's really it. I'm just looking forward to April getting up out of here.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
So I
moving.
can have fun.
We are
Moving
moving.
along.
Yeah. So
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you've been doing.
Yep, that's it.
2 months. It's been a minute. So, like I mentioned to y'all when I was coming in, went to Rio with some of my friends, and there was no occasion for this trip. It was just a, fun trip. One of our friends used to live here. He's relocated, moved around a little bit, so he wanted to get us all back together to hang out. I had been to Rio before, so that's what I was going to tell y'all.
Yeah,
Twice,
Mm-hmm.
2 years in a row.
that is crazy.
So those 2 times, this was like 7 or 8 years ago, but we went to Carnival in like February. So that was the purpose of going. But the first year we went, it was drama on the trip. So I made us do a redo, like eliminate the problem people and then do a redo.
Oh.
So that's why we went, 2 years in a row. No funny business, but
And had a better time, no drama.
absolutely. Yeah. It's a longer story behind that, but yeah. I don't like drama. I mean, nobody does, but, you like drama on a vacation?
Oh no, not on a vacation. I thought
Oh.
you just meant in general. We can do a little drama.
I mean,
you already know. And scene.
like I don't really care for it, but it's a little different when you at home and you could just like walk away from the drama.
Right.
You on a
Yeah.
damn vacation. It's like,
Kinda
bitch,
stuff.
I done spent my money and
Yeah.
I wasn't
That
even
kind of
into it
drama.
with nobody, but I don't like strife. So I'm just like,
Come on, Stripe. Yes.
so now my energy is off because everybody's into it. So anyway, that's why we did a redo
Okay.
2 years in a row. But
It's important. No, listen, like get it straight. It's important, and then
Yeah.
especially when you're traveling with people. Those
Yes.
are, I you spend the money. I want
spending
the
our
best,
money.
I want the best experience for
Right.
my money, and that includes with the people.
Peace.
Yes.
Peace of mind.
Yes. Yeah.
So I had decided that right on the trip. I told my 2 friends, I said, listen, next year we're coming back to Carnival. We ain't bring these 2. We not. So we did, and we had a great time. And we just traveled well together. Like, you know, you got your friends that you just, it's just easy. And the other people that we had recruited along the way, we didn't know them as well or as long. So it was nothing minor. It was just what it was. But that's why we ended up doing the redo. This trip was great. We went to the beach. I mean, we just did all the touristy things. Nothing special. It was just a good trip to like catch up and relax. What else have I had going on? So my no drinking streak is still going. I made it through Rio.
Yes.
I made it through Rio.
Wow.
And I said that would be like the final exam. I really think summer will be like the final exam, but
you going to summer school?
Well, you know, like just getting through a summer with that. But I think I'm okay now. I did have 1 month, like the first day we got there, and we were just kind of walking around and wandering and exploring, and they have caipirinhas. Is there the drink that they'll make and bring you on the beach. And I was like, that was a moment I was just like, oh dang, I remember when we were, you know, 8 years ago or whatever, we were out here and sloshed on the beach and just kind of like vibing and you know, people watching and stuff like that. But I think that was more nostalgic than anything. So after that,
more than a desire to want.
Yeah.
Do you do mocktails? Because I'm actually in a 30-day no drinking right now. Me and the girls.
Yeah.
Do you do mocktails?
I will, but I haven't really.
You haven't found it necessary?
Oh, okay. Now, what did help me is having something in my hand. Yeah. Like early on, like Ken had a house party for his birthday, his 40th, and I can remember drinking up all their mixers. I was like, I gotta have something to drink. So I was like, pour me another glass of Sprite.
Yeah. Somebody looking for the Sprite and it's gone.
It's gone.
And it's gone. Who knows all the Sprite? Donnie over there with his cup.
So that did help me early on, but it'd be like, who got time to? Okay, one, mocktails be costing just as much as a cocktail. What are we doing? I'm not paying for that.
I found that out today, the other day, the hard way. I was mad.
I'm not paying for that.
Mad.
No. For juice?
That's crazy.
So there's that, and then it's just sugar most of the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it might be mocktails that are like, you know, real fruit juice or vegetable juice or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that's why I don't really need them. So as long as I have something in my hand, I'm usually okay.
So when you were traveling with the group, were you the only one that wasn't drinking, or were there other people?
Well, that wasn't the plan core. There were other people that were in this journey with me up until this point. But
they abandoned.
Yes,
hell no.
Quickly. But I will say that we didn't drink.
The struggle.
Yeah, I think you need to do it behind.
Oh, okay.
What was I saying? The
drinking.
It wasn't the attempt. They abandoned you, the people that were supposed to.
Yeah, but I will say they didn't drink, like as a team, we didn't drink. We didn't drink as much as we normally do because everybody got their 2 bottles at the duty free and whatnot and took it back to the Airbnb or whatever. And by the end of it, it was still bottles left. And I'm like, now, do I need to get back in the game? Because if it was me, we would have had these bottles drank up. And they was,
now do I need to get back in the game?
What I do love about, you know, just all my friends is they were like, no, we don't need you to, you know, everybody's very supportive, which I kind of wasn't expecting at the very beginning. Like, you know, I was having conversations with myself, with people about how they're not going to tell me what to do. And not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was kind of anticipating it going a little bit different.
Were you in the shower having these conversations?
Yes, I do.
Running it through.
Whole conversation. And then they going to say, I'm be like, so
holding to my boundaries.
Yes, you got to act it out.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
But I didn't need it. Turns out, for the most part, early on, I feel like, you know, people take it as a, like, you know, like you're being antisocial almost if you're not drinking. But once they figured out, or once I decided that it was going to be like, oh, I'm just not going to drink anymore at all. Then everybody's like, oh, well, that kind of changes things. Like, we're not going to pressure you, or we're not going to, Yeah. So.
Well, too, sometimes when people make this kind of life change, they become a little elitist, in this position that they've taken too. And that can be irritating because it's like, girl, you was just drinking last week. Relax.
But I don't even know anybody that has done that.
That's a good point, Corey. But I don't see Donnie being like that.
No, he isn't.
No. And that's what I told one of my friends too, like, because I think we all have the tendency, just human nature is to think about like, well, maybe I should be doing this or maybe I should. And I'm like, I'm not telling anybody because I feel like y'all need to do the same thing. I'm telling y'all because y'all are my close friends and y'all need to know while I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense for me to show up and be like, no, I'm good, because then I'm going to have to fight this battle every single time. So I'm just telling you. So you know.
Are you pregnant?
Right.
Like, tell us what's going on. Like, what's happening?
And then,
funny.
some of my friends that are not as close to me be like, well, did something happen?
Right.
Did you black out? I'm like, no, I just kind of, I don't know. I'm just weird like that. Like I stopped drinking and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just try not to do it ever again. And
it's
I just
empowering
ran with
to make decisions like that.
It
and
is.
Then stick with them. That is very empowering.
That is
goal.
exactly how I feel. Empowered.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep going. But yeah, there's that. And I don't know. I was telling you, Corey, I've just kind of been a little bit more
enjoying your home,
reclusive. Yeah, like just enjoying my house. Like I was walking around, I'm just like, I just like being here.
Yeah, it's lovely there.
Put on my video game or
it's nice.
Watch
you
my
have
show.
Some new ornaments and stuff I noticed in there.
I do?
Yeah, like on the table, a little new vase that I see.
Oh no, I just had to move things around because plants died.
Oh, well, I was going to mention that because there's one in that corner. I said, oh, Donnie, that isn't back there burnt up.
Malachi is struggling. And it's so that's why I was looking at yours. Malachi is
burnt.
He on his way out.
Yes,
How he burnt?
He's been on his way out for probably
ain't
2
even
months.
Try to rescue him.
I have. That's the thing.
At him in
I'm
the corner
frustrated
dying.
at this point. So I'm like, I done gave you coffee grounds. I done stopped watering you. I done watered you more. Like, what do you want? I done talked to you, sang to you, played music.
Did you move locations? Did you move him out that corner?
I had him.
And put him next to another plant. Sometimes they need a plant friend. I'm making stuff up. I'm just doing what I feel like works for me.
I'm about to say, now listen, if I try that, I'm going to be mad if it don't work.
Because when I separated Gladys from the Pips, the Pips started acting up.
Really?
Yeah. And so I had to put them back together.
There might be some truth to that.
Could be.
Just like humans, we're meant to be connected.
Social. Maybe some of them are more social. Because I tell you what, Vanessa in my office is just fine by herself. My little fiddle fig.
Yes, I seen that.
Leaf. Yeah, she's good. So I don't know. I don't understand.
Because he's a little light, but I don't know will you have him positioned. Those
if that's
type of plants. Yeah, I don't think it's a good place.
Because
too much sun.
Well, I feel like he needs more sun actually, but then it's kind of where the position, because that one flower back there is burnt, and so it's like he may be getting too much from your highlights, your skylight or whatever. So
is it burnt or is it just?
It's brown.
Well, it's been like dried. I thought it was like dried up.
Okay, yeah, dry.
Dry, yeah.
Burnt is the same thing. Because it's supposed to be green. Why is it brown and yellow?
Not too much on Malachi.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's still a sensitive topic.
Somebody got to care for him.
I am. I'm trying.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's Vanessa and Malachi are the last two standing.
Oh Lord.
Malik got up out of here. Well, actually, he stayed for a long time. It was a snake plant, but then I think he got root rot. Like where you like there's not like proper drainage, but that was before I knew what root rot was. So. Okay.
You live and you learn.
Yeah. Julian is still dry. You see Julian on Sunday.
He's doing really well.
Yeah.
No, the last time I was over there, I was like, oh,
yeah.
Bring Malachi over and maybe have a play date. Like this, is how you supposed to look.
Yeah, I can try to fix them.
Shit.
Yeah. What kind of when you use water? Do you use room temperature water or do you use like cold water?
It's not room temp, so I get it at like just from the faucet, but it's like lukewarm.
Okay.
But I don't sit it out.
Sit it out. I actually sit the water out, and sometimes I sit it by the plant, and then And I was like, Jasmine, I don't know if any of this
Right.
makes sense, but to me, it's like, okay,
It works.
get over here and feel the energy and feel the
Yeah.
water you about to drink. And then once I give it to them, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
the
know.
things that plants make you do.
And they're living beings. So,
Yes.
I mean, some of this
Yeah.
feels
I had
right.
to cut him the other day because he was getting some little brown pieces on the end. And I don't know if I was supposed to cut him or not, but I said, I guess I got to prune them. So I
Well,
just
that-
started
Yeah.
pruning.
That's what I
There we
did with
go.
Malachi, and
And then it's happened. That was what I was concerned about too.
it got a little worse. I was like, oh. It's like, well,
Oh my God.
So far, we are good though, like with him, but
Yeah.
we're actually growing more. And so I'm thinking that.
and you
that
get
helps.
a ton of natural light as
I do.
well.
Yeah.
And you
yeah.
probably get some direct sunlight at
I
some
do.
point during the day.
Yeah, a lot.
So,
Mhm.
and his sunlight it's sunny in there, but it's indirect.
You are
It's
right.
an indirect light.
Yeah,
so
you're
maybe he
correct.
just needs more sun. I don't, but
Yeah.
the thing is, I've had him for, I want to say like 2 years. I might be exaggerating, but it's been well over a year.
Mhm.
So, I don't know what's changed or, what I did wrong. But anyway, I know.
We'll get
he
through
breaking
it.
up with you.
Yeah.
Well, another thing is I think he needs to be
March or
repotted.
April.
Mm.
Yeah,
He's breaking up with me.
Yes.
But anyway, that's the gist of what's been going on with me.
Yeah.
What about you, Corey?
Well, opposite of what Jasmine just said about her therapist, when I was on here last time, I was real loud and proud about about me ending, my relationship with my therapist.
Yeah.
That lasted for 4 months.
Okay.
For 4 months, I did not have a scheduled therapy appointment on the books, and for the most part, I did well. I was doing pretty well.
Mhm.
And so since we've been gone, one of the significant things that happened to me is that my father-in-law passed unexpectedly. And so, that really sent everything into a tailspin, me and, my husband, obviously, and, trying to get all of that, just get through that, I had just started one of my new class. I had just started a new class in school, and I ended up having to take some time off because I'm like, hey,
Because you can't do it all.
I can't do it all.
Hello.
and
Hello.
and I have never been a husband before, and my father-in-law passed, so I don't know how this is going to look.
Mhm.
On the other end of this, and the concern at that time obviously was for Art, in his grieving process, and then having to be there as a support for him, but you couldn't do everything, all at once, all at one time. So it was just on that topic, because I do want to spend a little bit of time here, because while it was like really some unforeseen circumstances, there were so many things that I got out of this like whole experience, and just going through it and going through a process like that, with a loved one, and then really not knowing what that looks like, and what they need, because they don't really know what they need, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so just trying to figure that out, step by step. But so one of the things that I really that resonated with me is on my father-in-law, there was 16 of them. And so and I want to give the story honor, so I'm very thoughtful about how I'm telling the story, because it's not mine, but it's something I experienced. So I want to be thoughtful, to my husband with that. But it was 16 of them, and old school, how we used to do. They, our elders, sometimes they had two separate families, So
Right.
it was 8 people on one end, and 8 people. It was 8 people in Jacksonville, 8 people in Georgia. But the 8 people in Georgia, there is the 8, I should say, aunts and uncles in Georgia. There's one girl, and then there are 7 boys. And Jasmine, I think I was telling you this when we were over for Thanksgiving. For Easter, I was taken it didn't, I was taken aback because the 7 boys, like all of the cousins, like they all knew each other. They made sure, like all of these 7 men, they made sure that their kids knew like each other, and they actually grew up together.
I love that.
And I was telling Renard, I was like, imagine, your cousin, he has one of his female cousins, one of his woman cousins. And I said, imagine her. Well, her mother has 2 girls and a boy. And you know how you usually are always spending time with your mother's side of the family when you were growing up. So I said, so imagine her not having nobody to play with, when she going over grandmama's house or granddad's house because, the cousins aren't around because, maybe they didn't know who their fathers were. But that wasn't the case. And I was telling her, I said, this isn't normal. This doesn't happen, all the time. And I think that this is just awesome that you are the center focus of you all coming together is really around all of these strong men, in this family. And I just thought that was great. Being able to witness that and see that and just see that, that family dynamic too. It's one of the things that I enjoy with being married into this family because they are such a close knit family in that way. And then seeing that, those different dynamics, it made my heart smile, a little bit, and to experience that. One of the other things that really was significant for me in this period was being able to understand more and more about, my husband, and really through the lens of his father, and seeing things, as we are developed through our parents, we have a co-regulated relationship, right? From birth to where we are even now as adults. And so sometimes we don't always thread together the things that come from our parents. And just seeing, so I'll give you, a couple examples. My husband is, he's kind of a pack rat, a little bit like he likes to keep things. And initially, without really having full context of that behavior, I can get annoyed because I'm the complete opposite. I like clean lines. Everything needs to have its space.
Clutter.
Right.
I know.
I am a minimalist, when it comes to that. I don't like a whole bunch of that. And so I could be so focused on what I like and what makes what makes me okay, and not understand the significance of what that is, for my husband. Not that he just wants to keep these things, but there are reasons embedded as to why he has these feelings, towards these, certain attachments and things like that. And so it was being able to understand that so I can make sure that within our marriage, I'm allowing space for that, right? Yeah. And not making him feel like, well, I don't like, all of this clutter and I don't like all of these things. So, I don't want that stuff. You can't do that, right? But now understanding that this is a part of him and it's actually not a bad thing. One of the good things that came out of this, my father-in-law, to me, when you walked into his house, it looked like a museum. And you would walk in, you would walk through these beads, like literally, like he had beads.
The beads. I ain't seen the beads in a minute. Real old school.
That is.
So he was a huge George Clinton Empowerment fan. Donnie, you would enjoy that. Love them. Like you've seen the picture at the house, Jasmine, but he has a picture with them because he stalked their 2 of us. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so you walk through the beads, and once you walk in, it's like a museum. He had, family wall, every obituary. He went to everybody's funeral, all of the portraits, all of the pictures, was decorated all over the wall. And I remember the first time that I met him, obviously before we got married years ago. And I said, wow, your dad loves people. I said, I can feel that when I walk in his house. Like this is him outwardly showing his love and appreciation for people. And it was all over his house. And it reminded me of how, like we're older now. And I'm like, we don't have pictures no more in our houses, like of our
photo
families,
albums,
of our friends, photo album. We don't like what happened. No, we don't have these things.
Instagram,
because we took them beads down.
We don't have these things that we grew up with. I can remember sitting in my great grandmother's living room and just going through the photo album when they used to write in the margins. Yes, and they used to write in the margins. You know, this was spring of '87, and this was '73. This was '68. You know, and so it was a remembrance of that. And I'm like, we've lost some of that as we've become adults. You know, our millennial and Gen X selves. You know, we've lost those things that kind of bring us connection. And being there and kind of having to, you know, clean his house out and go through all of his stuff and all of these things, it was overwhelming because it's emotional and everybody's grieving. But it also was like, okay, I have to start making space for this when we get back home. You know, this is a part of him. You know, this isn't a bad thing. These are actually good things. Let's bring, you know, picture books back, and let's bring the things that I don't know if you guys ever seen this passage. It's called Footprints in the Sand. Yes. Yep. So my great grandmother had this. She kept this, you know, in our home growing up, and we were there cleaning out the house, and I seen it. My father-in-law had it. I said, "Oh my God, we got to take this." I said, "This is the exact same." My great grandmother kept this forever. Like when she passed, my grandmother took it, you know, and she kept it. And so we brought that back, and he had photo albums, and we brought that back. And so it was good, you know, in that sense, to be able to get a little closer. And one of the other things for me was, you know, I didn't grow up with my biological, you know, father. And here recently, you know, getting older, and I think I've told this story, I for sure wrote about it, but I think I told a story on the podcast already, that my mother and my biological father spent the block, got back together. They've been together now for about 15 years at this point. Child's like, what? Anyway, and
sometimes it works.
Sometimes I was just thinking that. Sometimes it works, y'all.
Sometimes it doesn't.
And it's working for them, you know, clearly. You know, they're like two old people just going about their day at this point, child. And it's kind of cute, you know, and I'm just happy that they like each other, right? But one of the, even before this situation happened, one of the things that happened, I was talking to my mother. I don't know how we got on the subject of toes, like feet. And we were on the phone, we were talking, and usually, you know, when we are, when either me or are talking on the phone in the house, like we're talking to our family, we are talking on speakerphone. And she was like, no, you got your feet from your daddy. she said, no, you didn't get them from me. She said,
why I be doing the same thing with JD?
No, but this, because my mother doesn't have very pleasing feet to the eye, okay?
Oh.
And she was like, no, you got your feet from your daddy. Your daddy got pretty feet. He still got pretty feet. And I
love it.
And when she said that, you know, it struck me because I didn't grow up with him. And so obviously I know I'm made of my mother and my father, but because of the object, okay, so here, just go with me for a minute, okay, right? You know, again, back at birth, when we're born, we are born.
We going all the way back.
We're going all the way back, okay?
Okay, I'm with you.
Yes, we are born, and the first thing that we see as infants, because we can't make out faces, is that, I'm going somewhere with it, is that we see objects, right?
Okay.
So we don't necessarily see our parents in their physical form when we're infants and when we're born. We see them as objects, as shapes, right? It's like when we say, for example, like you guys have Face ID on your phone, right? iPhone, right? Okay. And so say, for example, like if I'm walking down the street, walking one of my walks, I have my sunglasses on, right? And I do my Face ID, it still opens up. Why? Because it recognizes, even though they can't see my eyes because my sunglasses are on, it recognizes the shape of my face. So they're like, oh, this is Corey. Open the phone up, right? And so for me, I had that object in my view as a kid. And so when she said that, I'm like, damn, how many other things?
How much more? Yeah.
Am I missing? Because I didn't grow up with him, so I never even considered that, oh, I got my feet from my daddy. You know, I thought my eyes are, out of my mother's kids, my eyes are only ones that used to change colors, but they are light. I used to always say I got my eyes from my grandmother because, you know, her eyes used to do that. But I could have gotten it from somebody on my dad's side too. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know. And so it just made me think about, I was like, well, how much other things that he does or just by makeup.
And his personality,
yes, exactly.
even, yeah.
Exactly.
Especially
Donnie.
his personality.
Yes. Yes. Well, y'all met him at the wedding. And so, you know, I'm like, how much else is, you know, am I like him than I don't realize? And it really came on the heels of like what Art and his dad, the reason why Art enjoys and loves Art, no pun intended, and Dan so much is his dad. And it goes back to Parliament and George Clinton and his love for music and always dancing. And that's where Art got his love from dancing from. And I'm like, you know, I don't want to miss things. I don't necessarily don't know if I'm having a therapy session, I don't know if I want my dad to father me at this point. Yeah. But I am interested in understanding things that I don't know.
Connecting those dots.
Yeah. He's for context, right? You know, my father is only a year older than, you know, Art's dad was, you know. Yeah. And so it's illuminating, you know. I don't have a lot of time to kind of like learn about him. Well, I don't know. Let me not say that.
You do.
There's a lot of time has passed, but you know, 68. You know, if I'm gonna do it, I have to be intentional. That's what I'm saying. I have to be intentional about learning, you know, and trying to discover things about him in that way. And so, I was able to get that, you know, from this experience and kind of like think through things a little differently. So
I think that's so cool. Is there, because I was going to say, you know, you're connecting those dots. So are you going to be intentional? How are you going to go about connecting them? Like, are you going to try to reach out to your mom? Because I feel like I'm doing that now with Jaden, even like with his dad. Not that his dad, he was, you know, in and out. He was around. But, you know, like, so I had a scrapbook with me and his dad, and I gave it to Jaden, and it had letters in there. It had pictures. It had all this stuff, so he can kind of see, like, you know, the creation.
The interaction.
Yes. And then, you know, I always mention, like, Jaden, so his personality is so much like his dad. He's like me too, but, you know, those things that he has, like his dad, and we have those conversations. And so I'm just wondering, like, are you going to have those conversations with your mom? Are you going to go directly to the source?
Well,
like, what's that look like for you?
Well, like when we talk at home, right? When me and Art talks at home on the phone, we talk on speakerphone, right? When I'm talking to her, you know, they live together, so he's, you know, he's there too. It's like everybody's just having one big conference call anyway, right? And so like he goes in and out of the room. You know, I've even found myself reasoning, you know, with him on his side, which isn't, you know, well, I mean, which isn't far-fetched, you know. My mom would just be ridiculous sometimes. But I'm like, girl, please. And so, like I've noticed even like those little dynamics. But to answer your question, I'm just going to go at it with both. I mean, they're both there, you know, from that aspect. And so she may have insight that he doesn't because she looks at things differently. And you know, I'm sure that he has a hell of experience that I have no idea about, you know, and just things that if he just tells his story and shares his story with me, where I am now with how much work I've done from an introspective, retrospective work, all that kind of stuff, I'm sure I'll be able to draw the lines, you know, almost immediately with that. And so, it's gonna be a journey. I'm excited to hear about it. Yeah, it's going to be a journey on all sides, right? Because now life, since it's never going to be the same, you know, for Art, and so he's forever impacted and forever changed, you know, since March 16th. And so it's that also is going to flow into our marriage, right? So it's just a lot of transitions, a lot of changes. It's a lot of, patience. You can't put time on grief, And so I just tried to make space, for much space for that as possible. We got back to the house, he has kind of like, I put up all of his cards that we've gotten. I think I was telling you, Jasmine, was like, people still, I was telling this to my barber. Shout out to Manny. People still write, and be, and have, and are thoughtful about it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Someone wrote him a handwritten note on her own stationery. Okay. Like, just took the time to write a handwritten message. And I was so impacted just by seeing that. And it's like, wow, people are still thoughtful. So sometimes those words and stuff help you get through the grieving process. So I've, put those things up. So if he wants to, he can go there and read them if he needs some comfort. We've brought pictures and stuff back of his father, and I've placed those in the house so he can be reminded of him and go over in there, look at him, and all those kind of things. So just trying to provide a space, for that. And this is what marriage looks like. Again, you can have all of the money, all of the business, all of the cars, all the thing, all of the stuff. But this is real life, when the rubber meets the road and you're dealing like with real shit. And how you dig into that so that you both, can come out of it. Can come out of it better. So that has been amazing. This is where I want to do my shout out. I gotta get it together. Spider, put Jasmine and Johnny on the screen while I do this.
Oh, okay. Hello, screen.
Y'all, say hi to people. Be nice to folks. So I want to, on the topic of pictures, I wanted to give a shout out to, I wanted to give a shout out to one of my husband's friends. I thought I was ready, but you could. One of my husband's friends, she has a business, and where she kind of makes it's kind, y'all remember Things Remembered. So it kind of reminds me of that, because you can take things and have them. So this is actually the picture. I want to put it here because I want people to be able to see it when we do a video of this. But I wanted to give her a shout out because it's kind of like, fun ways to bring your family, like I was just talking about, back into your home. And so she made these coasters, and these are actual pictures like that art that I had in his house. And now I'm gonna tell you, when we were there, we met her out for a little, dinner and cocktails, but she had an order with her of these like coasters with the pictures on it. And it was striking. It was beautiful. I'm like, wow, that is really nice. That is really, really good work. And so I said that to say these pictures actually came from the cell phone. And it's still, the quality of this is still really good. You pass that around and say, that's him and George Clinton. This is him and Art. You pass that one around and kind of see that. So they're coasters, and you can sit it on the table. But I want you guys.
His dad looks so young.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So I want you guys.
Baby face from.
Yes. Absolutely. I want you guys to go and check her out on Instagram. Her name is Tillisa Wilson, and her IG is tqscraftycorner. And I'm also going to have this in our description box of the episode. But on the website, on her Instagram page, she has, pictures of her work and stuff like that on there, and like different coasters. She does tumblers, she does t-shirts, she does mugs, coffee mugs, chains. I mean, everything. So really good work. And I thought, if we are all getting this space of kind of like, hey, bringing family back into the house, bringing pictures and stuff back into the house. I don't know that she can make portraits. But I'm pretty sure, she can figure some stuff out, when it comes that way. I checked her website, her Instagram out, and it seems to be a lot of different options and stuff on there. So yeah, check her out, give her a follow, and all of her pricing and stuff is right on there. But I did want to give her a shout out because I just thought that was awesome.
Yes.
Love this.
With these little things here.
Yes,
so
bring photos back.
yes, bring photos back. Jasmine, I think we were talking about that before.
I printed off a whole, I'm going to put a whole wall together of the generations, me, my mama, and my grandma. I threw Jaden in there. He was like, why am I in there? I said, boy, hush. You in here. It was only supposed to be, us, but that's my baby. So he's in there. But yeah, there's definitely going to be photos.
Yeah. That's good.
Nice.
So
yeah,
so that's where that's where I've kind of been at, in these past few months, just kind of really working through and getting through that. And because I was talking about going back to therapy.
Yeah.
While that wasn't the reason for me to go back to therapy, things just actually aligned for it to happen, like with me, getting back in there. It was a lot even for me with the different changes. I was focused on one thing with school. I was in a good groove. Now I have to fight to kind of like get back to that, I still had other things going on and then still trying to, figure out how to, manage the situation with my husband, and all this, like just trying to figure out how life is going to look after this, right. And not having all of the resources for this type of situation, it just kind of aligned and came in at the right time. So I actually had my first session yesterday. Oh. And after we got done, I'll be back next week. I guess I'll be back next week. So it's some things that I really need to work through and figure out along with that process, even of this new awakening of this relationship that I'm trying to cultivate with my dad and how that looks, needing some insight, into that space as well. So yes, it just came at a right time, and it doesn't mean even like I said before, sometimes, and I agree with what you were saying before, Jasmine, about knowing when it was feeling like I'm at a good breaking point. Like I've been in this thing for however many years, and I need to make sure that I can actually sustain.
There has to be
outside of this.
There has to be. Otherwise, you don't
have to do
you
that.
Have to test,
yes,
you have to
test it. And so, I did mine for 4 months, and it's not to say that I won't go back to not having to go for it. To me, this is almost like the oil change concept, right? I know most people now do oil changes every year, every 6 months. Everybody got a fancy car. But it used to be, our asses was there every 3 months, bitch, right. Because we had them cash cars. And they,
you better get on in there.
You better get your ass up in there.
Once a quarter.
Yes. Right. And get that oil change. And that filter change too, when they come and show it to you. And it's all like damn dust on it. Okay?
Like, I think they sprinkled dust down there in the bottom of the pit. Like, sir, I was just here. How was so dusty? Right.
But it's like a tune-up or oil change. In that way, and with this right now, and even it wasn't we set up scheduling. It's very we gonna see. Like when we started the session, she said, "Well, let's talk scheduling." She said, "Do you want to every week or every 2 weeks?" I said, "Well, listen, let's start with the 2 weeks." I said, "Now we'll decide by the end of this session what we're gonna do." And I will say it was 2 hours. So I had a lot.
You had a lot to get out that first session. Hey,
it was 2 hours.
Catching up.
2 hours. I had a lot to get through. Okay, and I still have more left.
Well then, how do you? Because I'm trying to figure out how I'm sending this breakup to, or what's the etiquette in doing it? She obviously deserves more than a text message.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And I actually want to have another conversation.
Yeah.
Just to let her know, hey, girl, we did it.
Yeah.
I think I've just kind of been avoiding it a little bit. Just
well, here's the thing. So, even a good therapist, a good counselor would actually want to have, especially if you've had the relationship that you have with your counselor for the length of time, they're gonna want, even if you want, an ending, they're going to want another session. They're going to want there is a thing of like a final session, like a breakup session. That is a thing, basically. And it's, something that is done in person, usually. Even if you usually do things virtually, that session would typically be done in person. I mean, I guess y'all can figure stuff out too, but yeah, you will want to have the actual conversation, and it's a breakup conversation, but it is normal, and a good therapist will understand that, right?
And I'm not saying that that's what it's going to be, but like right now, I feel I'm good.
Yeah,
and that's I don't know. I'll get into it. I haven't really just processed all of that, but that is the goal.
I mean, I feel like they know, like at some point things may come to an end, right? Yeah, like it should not be a shock. Like, I feel like I'm good. Even if you're not, and you made a decision, like I'm good. You know what I mean? Like even if she disagrees, it's like, well, what do you? You can't make somebody.
Yeah.
No, and it's not that. I think it's just out of respect for our relationship that we built. And, she was really helping me out in a time when I needed it. It's just like that sense of loyalty. Yeah.
It's almost like breaking up with a barber or something.
It is.
That's more intense, I feel like.
It's rough.
I don't know. I don't have a barber, but
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking in like our terms, like the way you're describing it. I'm like, okay, feels like breaking up with a barber, like the loyalty and
correct, and that's
all these things. Like you don't cheat on your barber,
right?
Some of us do.
To your point about the long relationships, like between my therapist and my barber, it's the people I like, girl,
because
we've been doing this for 15 years,
right?
And the whole time I'm in there, I'm like,
I don't watch kids grow up.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my
God. Literally.
Yes. So it's challenging to disconnect from. So I'm like, okay, got to find a way to disconnect where it works. For me, and she's probably not concerned about her, but I am. So figure it out. I'll keep you posted. I'm talking all this shit. And I'll be like, well, back on schedule.
Well,
no.
Ask Chad too.
Yeah, you're right. I feel kind of weird talking to him, but I do talk to him a lot more now because it used to just be work stuff.
Oh,
but now
wait a
minute.
Now what do you mean?
Now it's some other stuff.
What y'all be talking about?
I had sent.
You can talk to him about everything.
Well, I had sent. I had him revise a text message that I sent. I was like, "Is this? What did I say? Is this mean or is this rude or whatever?"
And you were like, "Yes." I remember you telling
me. And I sent it anyways. But yeah, like stuff like that. And then he'll ask follow-up questions like, "Well, do you want to, talk about this more?" And
right. That's the thing that gets me. It's like it never ends. I'm like, no, bitch. Like, let it go.
I'm like, well, actually, the situation.
I mean, I might say yes a couple of times, but it keeps going.
Oh no, it does. And then that's when you just have to cut him off.
Yeah. And for those that are listening, we called GPT Chad.
Yeah.
So that's what we're referring to. If you haven't figured that out from context clues.
We're fully committed now. Like I subscribe. So
that is Donnie and Jasmine.
What?
I do not.
I'm not paying them no money.
Well, I use him extensively at work.
So because there's a limit.
He kept telling me I'm at my limit. I'm like, what? I know you lying.
So you only get so many requests or something?
Yeah, but I be working him. So he's like, look, girl,
you got to pay for this.
And I did.
I have never used. I don't even know what
really.
No,
but I can see Corey. Like you're like you don't want to. Like you're just like it's. Oh my God, I love it so much.
I do too.
You know what it is, and I know this sounds bad. I don't care, but I use my brain a lot. Sometimes I don't want to use my brain.
Hello.
Like if somebody else can use their brain, well, it's not a brain.
Sure. Well,
it kind of is.
Well, I'm just saying. Yeah. Whatever we're going to call it. Whatever it is.
It's a productivity tool.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
In all things.
Okay, Don.
And so I feel like.
You better tell the people.
And that's what I use it for.
Yeah. And it's just
why am I going to hand screw something in when I got a power drill? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? And the thing is, it's not. You still have to give it prompts. Now you get what you put in.
Yes.
Just like a real relationship.
Come on.
I'm
throwing these things together, Jasmine.
I'm trying to.
You really don't have to put that much.
Oh, I do because Oh, I do.
Mm.
You don't? Well, see,
No,
I don't
it
know what you're
depends on
using
what
them for, but yes.
it depends on what it's for. Like sometimes I'll be like, better way to say, and then, colon and just spit out whatever garbage and it'll give me something nice. And then I may say like, oh no, a little bit more professional, a little bit more, diplomatic or whatever. So I'll do that.
So no, I have him do whole, hey, I need a project tracker plan. We're trying to roll out I need you to put this in there. I need you to add this the timeline. And
you for real.
Oh, I be on it and he be like, doop, doop, doop. And I'm like, nope, I need this different. And so we work together.
I need to get on your level.
Oh, I'm going to show you. It's great.
Yeah, I need to get on your level.
I'll show you. Wow, that's fascinating. It's pretty interesting that you're able to do all that. No, I haven't ever ventured over there with Chad. Yeah, I don't know what he be doing, but
it's fun.
I don't know. I'll be seeing people be using it for like actual therapy, and it's a little concerning because they be posting it online too.
My thing is, if you got a Threads account, then you can. If you have a Threads account.
What?
A Threads account. No, it's not called. Wasn't it called Threads?
Yeah. Thread from Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah.
We created a Threads account. You can get on ChatGPT and check it out.
Yeah. Well, you mean Corey did?
Yeah. Did you create a Threads account?
For the Shop Path conversation page, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll be on there.
I'm just saying.
But it's not.
I still haven't let that go. I'm just saying, if we can do that, then we can do this. Is what I'm saying, y'all. Come on.
Because you didn't like Threads.
Yes, I did not. But anyways.
Yeah, Chat is good. And I will use it probably for more personal stuff than work. But I definitely use it for work. That's all I'm gonna say. And I mean, you can use it for whatever you want, but you just have to take it with a grain of salt. Like, so if you use it for therapy, you ask, therapy centered questions. You just have to remember, like, you're talking to AI and you don't take its word for everything.
Right. You don't, because it's wrong.
Yeah. But I'll use it for like personal things, like, like nutrition stuff, like, what does this vegetable do for my body? Like little stuff like that.
You can say, I have $100. Please make a food list. And it'll do that. If you have certain meats, certain things.
It can do it all.
Yes,
I'll be sitting there talking to it like Chad is sitting right next to me on the couch. If I'm curious about something, why wonder? I can ask Chad.
Like the flamingos and they get their color from shrimp, when I told y'all. Oh, okay. So I could have asked them that. Okay. I actually learned that from the show. The Love on the Spectrum show. I was watching that.
I fact checked whoever said it with Chad. Did you say it or
no,
you did say it? Yeah.
Yeah. I fact checked it before I told y'all because I was watching.
I listened. Listen, Virgo. I already knew. I knew this was accurate.
Well, let me tell you.
But I needed more information from Chad
because I was when I heard him. I'm enjoying that show, by the way. But when I heard him, I was like, Is that a thing? And I said, God damn, that's true. I said, what? They in there eating shrimp and the flamingo done turned pink.
Right.
Wow. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who thought it? I sure
Y'all
did.
remember when y'all sat for 15 minutes while that man was telling us a story about them alligators at that zoo? And I was like, he's probably over here lying to y'all about whatever.
I thought it was a bear.
It was a bear. Because he said the bear went into the people's house and he was eating the food.
We were over by the alligators, I thought.
No, it was a bear.
I don't remember.
We might have been over by
there.
We might. No, we
come
weren't.
on, we got
here, but I'm gone. Sometimes people be talking and I just be somewhere else.
I'm like, we got giraffes to see, anyways. Come on, sorry, Corey.
Our zoo trip.
No, you good.
Crazy.
Okay, so that's my update. My little shot that I have here. So let's go, and we're gonna move on and do a little transition here. Donnie, I ain't got no transition, so look at that.
News you can use.
Well, wait. Before we go to news you can use, Jasmine, let's go to our ladies segment.
UNITY.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Go ahead.
Ladies first.
Okay, we gotta figure out
which one y'all go to.
I don't.
Oh.
Do both
This is my segment.
I know. That's why I was asking
First of all,
you.
Donnie is always trying to step on me musically. Can we talk about it? I'm not saying you an elitist, but
I am not an elitist.
A music elitist. What's the term?
You said ladies first, so I started singing. Ooh, ladies first.
I don't even know that song.
Ladies first.
I said UNITY.
Now, wait a damn minute.
Where did Ladies First come
Am
from?
I crazy?
Yes.
Is that a Queen Latifah song? Ladies First?
I only know you and
Yeah.
Ladies
ITY.
First.
Yeah.
Ladies First. Am I tripping?
No, it is. It is,
Yeah,
but she
that was
don't.
like,
She don't know it.
Ton of female rappers.
Yeah,
on
they
that
were.
song.
Yeah.
Now
exactly.
apologize because
No.
you're trying to make me.
No, I'm
you're trying to
not.
make it seem like I'm crazy.
No, Donnie, I never said that song. I said the Queen Latifah song, and I sat up in here.
Did
and
you
I
not
sung
say
You and
ladies? Who said ladies first?
Ooh.
We're gonna run this
I
back.
didn't say ladies first.
Nobody. Spider, run the tape, Spider. I'm sure he was recording.
Well, what's the name of your segment?
Who you calling a bitch? UNIT?
I don't know what the name of the segment. What'd you call it, Corey?
Oh, her segment. Oh, it's just
It was just lady segment.
The lady segment. Lady first. First lady segment. Something I was calling it.
See, no, Corey is making stuff
Wait a
up.
motherfucking minute.
wasn't.
Don't look at me.
No, see, no, I know what I heard. Y'all not gonna sit here and try to
didn't hear
make me
anything
feel
about
like I'm crazy.
That's fine.
Anyway, go ahead.
I only know you and ITY. But anyways, okay. The title of this is Ladies. Do things with your man. And I know this is gonna sound kind of crazy. And what I mean by that, I'm not even talking about like sexual things. I'm speaking from a single woman that is out here in these streets and is constantly being
A lady's touch.
a lady's. There we go. What's the song? What's the Queen Latifah song? Since you know it all.
All I know is what you said. I don't give a damn what the. I don't even give a damn what the name of the segment is anymore. I know what was said.
Anyway, yeah, these married men out here are very. I don't want to say they're bored. They're just looking for their partner or their spouse to do things with them. And it's kind of, it's sad for me. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I don't want to engage with any married man. I'm tired of meeting married men. I'm not going to engage with them, but it's even like with my friends, I hear them talking about how their wife really doesn't show interest in the things that they're interested in. And it's unfortunate because, as we all know, you know, we all have egos. We all want to feel like someone is engaging with us, you know, especially our partners, our spouses. And these men out here, just from, you know, my limited research, child, don't call me no side chicken nut. I ain't out here being no red beans and rice. But for my limited research that has been forced upon me, like,
it happens.
Some women, some wives, they've just like called it in and they're not doing anything with their husbands. For example, I had a friend, you know, he started running, you know, and he committed to doing marathons and all of these things. I get everybody isn't going to be a runner, but my thing is, we don't have to grow together. You know, we're two individual people. This is what you like, but I think you need to show some interest in what your husband is doing. Always have eyes on your partner, and not in a crazy way, but be curious about them.
Can I
and
ask, with the example that you just gave of a runner and understanding what you just said too about, you know, maybe you don't like to run. What other, if a person doesn't like to run, and what how can support look like then in other ways? Like, what can they do?
Maybe I'm not running with you, but I can commit to walk with you. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll be out there walking. So we're doing our physical activity together. I think that's what it is, right? And so, so this person, he's, you know, deciding, okay, I'm gonna run 3 miles a day. And I was like, you know what, that's, you know, I'm going to try to do, you know, I'm just throwing myself in there. I was like, I'm going to try to do, you know, 1 mile. And he was just so appreciative of that. This is just a friend, you know, whatever. But I'm just like, well, the response was a little alarming to me, because it's like, why do you not feel that same level of interest from the person that you're married to? And I'm just saying that because I feel like that's a common thread that I've seen with a lot of my friends, and even some of these men that are married. Like, it just seems like their wives aren't curious about them anymore. They're not interested. And so they're out here, and, you know, it's men, you know, the straights, they have a hard time sometimes expressing those things.
I was just going to say, you know, and I've had this conversation with my friends. Men need to start using their words.
Yes.
And like, if something hurts your feelings or something makes you feel a certain type of way, nobody's gonna know unless you use your words and you say what it is. Like sometimes someone may assume, okay, you're running, that's your thing. Maybe you want your own time to do your thing and you don't really care that I'm interested. Maybe that's not the case. I won't know either way unless you use your words.
Right. So my thing is, we're in a relationship. Who am I going to be in a relationship with? Corey or Donnie? Which one of y'all?
You know, you and Donnie, child.
Okay, come on, Donnie. So we're in a relationship.
After you went off on me.
Yes, and that's how our relationship is. So we're in a relationship and we've been together for years. And I noticed that you have now new hobbies, you have new activities that I have no visibility to. I have no clue about what kind of joy that brings you, the fulfillment, your motivation, why, what inspired you to do it. I don't know nothing about you. You literally got a whole new life going on. And then you wonder why, you know, there's separation or there feels like there's distance. Like I see you literally probably physically transforming in front of my eyes and I'm just like, oh, and blind to it and ignoring it.
Right.
And there's just a disconnect there. So that was really all I wanted to say to the ladies is, you know, be interested, even though it's probably something you don't want to do. And it could be very annoying.
And from that perspective, like I was speaking on the men, but from that perspective, it makes me wonder, like, are they genuinely interested in what their partner has going on?
You fake it.
Well,
or maybe not fake
maybe
it,
you do, but I'm just saying, like, damn, like if my partner was going through transformations and doing different things, like I would at least be remotely take me along with you. Like,
yes.
I feel like there should be some level of genuine interest. Otherwise, like, what are we doing?
Well, remember when we were here before, we'll get the episode back up. But remember when we were here before?
We were here before, John.
And the guy that was with Oprah, we were talking about remaining curious, you know, about your partner, remember? And that it's important. He was, you know, it was important for, you know, you to, you know, be in those moments of routine, you know what I'm saying? Like in those moments of routine and then asking those questions and remaining curious and, you know, always having a level of curiosity about, you know, your partner. And it even is going to what I was kind of talking about in my catch up, right? And some kind of related. I'm gonna give a little self-disclosure here in a minute too, but
come on, self-disclosure.
You know, it's kind of related to what I was talking about earlier as far as in my catch up when I was talk about, damn, now I lost my thought here when I do that. Okay, so my self-disclosure to your point about liking things that your partner and stuff like that. I think the example that you gave of Donnie, like when you were just with Donnie and how this new person is emerging right in front of your eyes and you're not interested. Like I can't absolutely.
Like how Donnie did Malachi. He saw him over there in that corner.
Yes.
Left him.
I have tried to bring him back to life, but whatever.
I can absolutely understand that from that aspect. But there was like we've talked about, like I was talking about before, my husband likes dance, and you guys know that, you know, that is his other activity. You know, his life is centered around is that dancing, and he's, you know, really expanding in that. I'm so proud of him. He's even starting to do other, you know, private sessions and consulting and stuff like that, you know, with dance. And so, yeah, like if you want some of those sessions too, anybody want to learn how to do a 1-2,
boots on the ground.
Yeah. You know, but he had a session today. And so, I thoroughly enjoy seeing him enjoying dancing. Right. Thoroughly enjoy that. And I remember when we first got together, that was one of the things that we both talked about. When we first got together at that time, we were doing the podcast a whole lot more than what we are doing now. And so that was kind of like my thing that I was, you know, doing, and a lot of media stuff. And his thing, you know, was really with dance. And we were both very adamant about, you know, making sure that the people that the person that we were going to be in a relationship with, you know, had something of their own, like that they were doing, so that they didn't always, you know, have to be a part of, you know, what the other person is, you know, is doing, or, you know, that take up them take up that whole identity of the other person. And you also have to, consider interests and stuff like that too, that, that the person may have. And so for me, I never wanted to be, it wasn't a matter of not wanting to support, him or show interest or curiosity about dancing. I just didn't want, if I didn't want to, like my husband dances about 4 nights a week. Okay. And I didn't want to have to feel like I had to go to a dance class when that's not really something I want to do with my evening, right? On a personal level, understanding that this is what, my husband loves and what he enjoys and what he's doing. But I don't physically always want to get up and go to a dance class because I don't see it, that way.
Sometimes it's not your thing.
It's not my thing.
I think that's okay.
But like I said, even when we had got married, we had our little dance or whatever, and I had, you send me up there.
Where was out there?
But like I said, listen, I dance when I'm drunk. Like my husband is a professional dancer. Yeah. So I'm doing my best. But you get me
Corey
a drink.
was counting them steps.
Yeah, exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, bitch. Okay, but you get me a little drink in the club, and my hand is going up. And I ain't dropping it down.
5, 6, 7,
don't give me
8.
no wall because I'm sliding down the wall. I can give you what you need then, but just like let me get suited up and just like go to this dance class. That really isn't, it really isn't my thing. And so my point in this is saying this. Now, years into our relationship, to your point, it's not that my husband is doing anything different as far as, well, he is, but he's always been dancing. But now support for him looks a little different,
right.
of what he may look at it. I looked at support of how was dancing, how was this? Oh, listening to all the songs while he's practicing. Like I know what you're gonna be dancing to, before he gets to the class, and sitting in there and just watching him do that, or even me being on my phone and he's playing a song over and over and over and over again like a loop. It doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Like this is his art process. This is, no pun intended, this is his process of doing what he needs to do. And so I'm intrigued and I am engaged in that. When he's done with dance, when he comes back home, I'm usually, how did the class go? Did you do this new song? How did that song go? Did you do this, do that? His actual class, the titling of his class where he teaches now in Cedar Hill, like I thought of the name, for him, with that. And so I try to find ways where I think, this is how I know I can show support, but also in that, just because it's the way that you can, sometimes you may need to hear your partner if they need support in another way. Yeah. And even to your point, Donnie, even if it's not my interest, and maybe it's still not my interest, but okay, maybe we can meet halfway in something, right? With all right, maybe I'll do a 30, I'll come to the gym with you. I'll do 30 minutes of a class, and then the other 30 minutes I'll go and work out.
Well, he may not need you to come to the class. It may just be you being engaged enough with him and, like you said, listening to him or watching his routine or giving him feedback while he's dancing. But just imagine while you're, in school going through, in classes and you over there in them textbooks doing this and he ain't looked up to ask you a question, to check in, to, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's where, look at me and married people business. That's where the disconnect is.
I just feel like,
no, I agree.
It's a communication thing, because people are different and some people will want you to be engaged in other ways. Some people don't care. Some people don't want you, and like, this is my thing. Right. You do your thing. Let me do my thing. But you won't know unless you have a conversation with somebody. So
that's true.
That's my thing. Like, I'll be asking him, well, have you expressed that you would like her to go on runs with you? Right. Maybe he has, and maybe it fell flat. I don't know, but you got to use your words too, because we're all individuals and it may not be her thing, but I'm sure if she knew how important it was for her to show up and be supportive, she would. I'm not sure of that, but I'm guessing if you're in a relationship with someone, you give a damn about what you care about what they want.
See, and I automatically assume, and maybe this is just me and my thinking, I automatically assume if there is a change with you, then it's important to you. So I'm gonna naturally be curious.
Everybody don't do that.
It's built in for me. PSA. Hello, man out there, my man.
Let them know.
Okay.
Let them know.
I need you to stay curious about me. Okay, all the time, always.
And
figure out what I'm doing.
And to your point, just because it's what the other person may need, that doesn't mean that that other person is expected to have to be in compliance with that.
Right.
It's a request, simple.
Right.
Right. And
this is why we have friends, people.
Right.
Hello. Your partner's not supposed to be your end all be all. This is why we have friends.
And it's true. And now,
that's a good point.
It is true.
That's a good call
and
out.
now you decide, how you may want that to look. If you can meet that request or not, because sometimes you may be like, hey, I understand, but I literally do not want to do 1-2 step.
Right.
I literally don't want to do that.
I don't want to run all over God's creation.
And it doesn't mean I don't love you any less, or I don't
First of all, this is the lady segment. I need y'all.
We do need to cool it. We need to cool it.
Y'all need to get out here and run. I said run. So that's what we doing.
No,
but this is from a man's perspective. The example you gave. So I'm taking up for the lady in this situation.
Well, you got me looking crazy.
What you mean?
Because I'm taking up for the women too. I'm just saying, women, interested.
I get the both coins though.
However, the interest needs to come.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, stay interested in your man, even when he's annoying and what he wants to do is annoying, and you're so uninterested. If the shoe was on the other foot, you would want that same. Well, maybe you don't. Like Donnie said, maybe you don't.
It's a conversation.
It's a conversation. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's not always, and you said, well, I know you are tit for tat, Jasmine, but it's not always about that get.
We know.
Yeah. It's not always about that.
I don't like that. I don't like y'all put that on my name.
Well, you said it.
Sometimes.
You do it every time we come up here.
I was an angry black woman when I said that. I was sick of it. I was tired. Now I'm in my soft girl era, like Ari.
Yes. So it's not always about, that back and forth. It's more so, just like Donnie said, it's just more so really about a conversation, in my opinion, when it comes to that. Like, but what you're saying is true. Like, just from a basic, if you're going to be in a relationship, just from a basic, whoever you are, man and woman, woman and woman, man and man, like, you should be curious about what the hell is going on with the person that you are with. Like, you really should be asking questions, about what they have going on. And it doesn't have to be.
And if your partner misses it, you need to tell them. Like, we're not mind readers. Right. Nobody's a mind reader. Right. People make assumptions all the time too. So that's the other thing. Like, sometimes they think they read it right and they didn't. And
allow for a check-in. Like, not allow for a check up to that. Like I just said, right? We started out, R&I with one view of our individual activities, and then now we've kind of had a reset to that and see how that may look now. You know what I'm saying? And then I hear you, and so here's where I am, with this, and here's all the things that are kind of get in the way of me being able to fulfill that. I want to. It's not that I don't, but literally, here are the things, from a cognitive standpoint that I can't get through to even give you what you need.
Yeah.
Right.
And from that standpoint. And to your point, Donnie, that is why we have
friends.
Friends. Yes.
How many of us have them? Friends.
Ones we can depend on.
Let's be friends. Okay.
Finally.
It's important.
It is important. Okay, so that was good, Jasmine. Thank you. That's all you had.
That was it.
Is
that all y'all
was
have?
a good one.
Is that all y'all have? Shit, it's my segment.
Why you asking? Ain't this a podcast? I did not say that.
We supposed to talk.
Why am I always getting heat?
Because that's our love language. You gonna get this heat.
All right, let's move this train right along.
All right, are we ready for
news
you can use
with Donnie?
All right, so we're gonna start this segment off with entertainment.
Okay.
There's a new movie out.
It is
called Sinners.
Yay! Have you seen it?
Has everybody seen it?
Go ahead.
You sure?
Y'all are good. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you haven't seen it, you might want to skip through because we're just gonna talk about everything.
Give a little. We get 2 more seconds and turn it off right now.
Right now. All right. So what did you think, Jasmine? Let's
I loved it so much. So from just the basic level, I loved the setting. It reminded me of Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
Yep. I loved like I said, it was in the 30s. It was in Mississippi, right? You automatically, when you think 30s Mississippi, you're gonna period piece, Black people.
Folklore.
You're thinking poverty. You're thinking, all the negative things. This film depicted a community of Black people, having businesses, being business owners, moving, 2 brothers that came into town and were trying to do something and build something up. Right? They bought land. They bought property, they bought whatever. And so I appreciated that perspective. It wasn't no sad, oh my God, here it is. Everybody, it was good to see. Yeah. So the 30s, the 90s, not the 30s, the 30s and Black people. I also enjoyed the music.
The music was so good. Well. Yeah.
And this is just basic. We'll get a little deeper in it, but
I was gonna say,
just from the surface.
I didn't think that it was gonna be a sad story because I don't watch. I don't go.
It was sad to you?
No, I didn't. No, you said you. I guess that was a thought, but
yes, I see what you're saying.
No, I didn't think it would be that. I thought it was gonna be like a scary movie. So I was kind of out from the jump.
Right, because you don't like scary movies.
I don't like to be startled.
How did you even get in the mindset to do that?
So when I kept hearing how good it was, I had heard rumblings about it a couple months ago. And as people started to see it and were like, oh, it's so good, you have to see it. I mean, amazing and reviews. I'm just like, okay, well, maybe. And I'm asking, the questions like, is it scary? Like, how many times you jump? Because I knew it was vampires and stuff in there. So
witches.
Anyway, I went to see it for that reason, just because I heard it was amazing and the symbolism. I'd heard about that before I went to see it, and the acting, how Michael B. Jordan did an excellent job. For whatever reason, when I saw the previews a while ago, I didn't notice that he was a twin, like he was playing twins.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. I don't. Yeah, when I was like, okay, I know I watched the trailer, but I don't remember catching on to the fact that he was playing a twin in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the trailer.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I just kind of thought that the period. Raw, huh? I did. I just heard it was scary. I just heard it was scary. I was gonna say something, but I'm different now. I'm changing.
I mean,
and so that's I was like, but I wonder why they did that. Do you think it was kind of to try to deter people from going to see it?
What?
Like putting it out there like it was a scary movie. There was nothing scary about this movie, and I'm a scaredy cat.
No. I think Ryan Coogler. I think it's just I'm trying to make sure I get his last name right.
We had this thing last time with his name.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh, I just want to make sure I get put some respect on his name.
Yes, I think it's Coogler.
I think that's the genre that he's exploring with, because there's not a whole lot of Black horror. Well, there hadn't been prior to Jordan Peele and him creating horror and scary movies and kind of psychological thrillers.
Yes.
So I think it was positioned that way on purpose. Okay. And it did have some jumpy parts. Shit.
And this is an original screenwrite, right? This wasn't because he's the one that used to do stuff from kind of extensions from other stuff, right? But this one is out of his own.
Yes,
I think
original.
Yeah,
okay.
So
and
good.
You could tell it was just very well. The more I thought about, I'm like, you ever walk away from a movie and you just damn, this is almost sparked a creativity in me and
okay, Daddy.
So I mean, not specifically for me, I haven't used that side of me in a long time, but I went to my car and I'm playing Lauryn Hill, and I haven't gone back and listened to her stuff in a while, but it just put me in the mind frame of damn, this is original creative thought with depth to it, all the symbolism. And you have to see it, Corey, just to get an idea of how he was telling the story. Like there was a story, but then there's also the story about Black people and what we've experienced
and our ancestry.
Yes.
And how music factors into that.
That scene.
Yes, I love it. Was loud.
Was so spiritual. It was very loud.
I was like, I didn't want to be the one. Be like,
turn it down.
But
it was you watched it in IMAX, right?
But it was intentionally supposed to be loud like that, but it was very loud, alarming.
I didn't get alarmed. I felt like alarming. It was a spiritual scene, like the way that just the idea.
Turn that shit down.
What we're talking about is the scene, and if you're here now, you should have seen it, so you shouldn't be lost. But we're talking about the scene in the juke joint where the main character, I need to get these people's names. Sammy, I think his name was. He was the guitarist and he was playing. And at the beginning of the movie, they talked about how there are artists and musicians who, I'm gonna get my words together at some point. Musicians who can play and conjure, past and present, and it brings that good energy, but it also invites evil.
Right.
And so on this scene, there was the opening night of the juke joint and he had gotten up to play. And as he's playing, it takes us back to like, Africa when, people are playing music. And then it takes you all the way forward to even present day when you got DJs and women twerking. And it's like all this going on in the juke joint in a very spiritual, it was a
amazing.
Really powerful, an interesting concept.
Because that is spiritual, because that is I can't get my words right, but that's pulled from like the Bible, really, and even with the devil, who we know was in the choir,
right,
all of those things. And so there is energy through the chords. Like that's why we call it music therapy, right? People go to school to literally study this, and so their chords can invoke feelings and emotions. That's why even for people in the church, when they shout, depending on who you talk to, some will say that, I felt the touch from God, but they feel that feeling, that unction in their spirit because of the chords that are being played.
Yes.
And so you react to that. And that's why they dance and they shout and they run around. They do all these things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And interesting that you say the devil, because in that moment when he's playing and this is all happening, it attracts
that's when
the main vampire.
That's right.
And that's when he starts he comes with the two people that he's now converted. And it draws him into that space. And then he starts to try to get in, because with vampires, you have to invite them into your home. That's the way it works. But
like you invite music into your home.
Yeah, well,
the concept of that parallel.
Yeah. I in that moment, I felt like, I don't know, it's just a lot of conversation that you can have around it, because I feel like it was like, it was almost like they were inviting the devil into something that was sacred.
Yeah.
And so that's when it started to like, it just got chaotic.
That may be the white part, the art that comes that from a Western standpoint that took, and I ain't see it, so I'm just kind of like piecing together from what y'all saying, but that could be that part that kind of, we always say how people always talk about the word being perverted, and a lot of times they relate that to people being gay child, but in my opinion, it got perverted from the way beginning, when they took our African religion of spirituality, how we knew, and made what they wanted to have it look like from a white male viewpoint and perspective. And that's how we end up, with this westernized civilization, religion in that way, civilization in that way. But that's what it sounds like to me too.
All of that was in there.
Aspect. Yeah.
All of it was in there.
It's all there.
All of it was there. Yeah. So what stood out to me too is, so the Asian couple, her name was Grace.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
And she's
Symbolism.
She's the one that called the people in. She's the one that allowed them to come in.
Right.
Grace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And how we're always giving grace.
Wow,
How we're
yes.
I was just like, oh my God,
Yes.
Grace is the reason why y'all about to have to turn up.
Right.
Here.
Wow.
You
I was
know?
so mad at her.
I was mad too. I'm like, Grace, how could you? But you just think about how we give grace so freely.
Right.
I mean, I guess we're supposed to, Lord, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the situations that it will put you in. Yes. Not saying that you shouldn't give grace, but I don't even know if that was intentional or what, but
yeah. I'm sure
Grace.
it was.
Probably.
I'm sure.
With a name
That's- which is why, like, I probably will see it one more time.
I'm definitely going to,
because I just feel like there's so much that I did not catch everything, and I haven't even touched on most of it in this conversation that I did notice like the first time watching. But it's like you have to kind of go piece by piece to get there, even all the way up to the end. Did you see the 2 bonus scenes?
Yes.
Even all the way through the end, because it was like after he's experienced everything that he experienced, he goes back to the church and he starts playing the music, and then I think at the end is when the vampires even come back, so even into the church. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
the very last scene.
I don't remember them coming into the church.
I think he looked up as if, I don't think they showed it, but
You talking about when he was back, his younger version of himself, right?
yes.
See, I thought that was just I thought that was before the event.
I think it was after.
Well, because he was playing on the guitar.
I thought it was after the
See,
event, and it may not have been. So
yeah, but I mean, it was still very powerful, and whoever that actor is,
he did his thing.
yes,
All
his
of them
voice
did.
was so amazing. I really enjoyed it, and Michael B. Jordan did his thing,
Yeah.
and it was funny. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
just it was funny. It had a good message. I love seeing what's his name, the
Older guy?
Leroy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know his full name. I feel bad, but you just kind of going through the movie. I didn't know he was going to be in it, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's in it. Oh, snap, he's in it. And it was just like a feel good movie until it didn't.
Until it wasn't.
Until they got toe up.
So,
But even them getting toe up, I wasn't mad at it.
You weren't mad at them getting toe up?
I mean, it all made sense. It all connected. You know,
and
I was happy that Sammy made it.
Another thing I caught, so taking it back to the early part of the movie, the devil or the main vampire, he's running and the sun's starting to come up and his skin is starting to burn and he's banging on a door for this white couple to let him in. While he's doing that, like, he persuades them to let him in, right? And then shortly after, Native American.
Come on, talk about it.
And Native Americans
and they
pull
were
up.
in that transition too with the music. Yeah.
Yeah. They pull up because they were chasing the vampire, trying to like kill him. And they were like, knocked on the white people door, said,
she opened the door with a gun,
pointed at him, the Native American guy. I mean, it was a whole Native American posse. And he was like, you know, is there someone in there? And she wasn't trying to tell him. And she was like, listen, he was like, listen, he's not what he seems. And somebody from back there was like, listen, the sun's fitting to go down and we ain't got that much time. We got to get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Because they know. Okay. Then.
And that was that. But if you think about like America and how, you know, they try to tell, like, you know, Native Americans were part of the story. Like, I feel like that was why they were kind of woven in the way that they were.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then from that point, of course, the vampire turned the two white people. But when he initially opened the door, there was a Klan hat on there, so they were part of the Klan. And I'm not telling this in a way that's there's so much, because when the two twins came to buy the juke joint, what was going to be the juke joint from the white guy, they were like, what was on this floor? Like, what?
Why is it wet?
Why is it wet? Right. And he was like, don't worry about it, basically.
Cleaned it off.
We just cleaned it off. Don't worry about it. And fast forward to the end, turns out it was a slaughterhouse. And so
it was all of those people.
It was probably a slaughterhouse for black people.
It was the spirits that was coming through the
for
floor
black people. Well, I mean, it was a trick from the beginning. Right. So they were planning on coming to the juke joint and killing everybody. And at some point in the movie, they said, how did they put it? The Klan doesn't exist anymore.
That's what he said. He was like, "Oh, the Klan doesn't exist," or something like that.
The Klan doesn't exist. And then at the end, when they all pulled up, it was the Klan.
Okay.
But they didn't have hoods on. They were all in plain clothing. And I feel like he was trying to say something behind that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they were all just dressed normally.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a lot.
A lot of symbolism.
A lot of symbolism. So
I think you would really enjoy it.
I think you would really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Those things don't bother me. I would still see it and still enjoy it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and still get something from it for sure. Yeah.
So anyway, excellent movie. We have not touched on everything, but for those who have seen it, I'm sure they've enjoyed the movie too. So, what else is going on? I know. What we looking like?
We done. We got one. We got one more.
We ain't got time.
One more.
Okay, so I was just gonna comment on what we were talking. Jazz and I were talking about.
Oh my God.
Shannon Sharp and this whole situation.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think we're all aligned on how we feel about it potentially, but
here's the summation of it for me. I think, right, because there's been a lot even today. Like his attorney has spoken today. He's really come out and they're gonna do a countersuit against a woman, and that's gonna make her go onto the stand and do all of these things and stuff like that. Listen, I think
are they gonna make her read them text messages?
I think,
Are they gonna make her read them text messages?
Yeah, well, that's he wants her to explain those text messages, but I think that you hear her account, right? And none of us there. Like her account is her account. You hear her account of what things that happen. I mean, Shannon is trying to defend himself,
right?
And albeit, this man has a right to do what the hell he wants to do in the bedroom when it comes to sex. He can be as nasty as he wants to be, because that is his business. The awkwardness, I think, for a lot of people as, coming into this situation, well, for some people, because a lot of the other people that I see are actually blaming her, more so than anything else because of what she supposedly allegedly does for a living. But for me, it was like, even if you're gonna do that, like, Shannon, you're almost 60. Yeah. Like, what are you doing with this? Like, this don't even make sense. This girl can't even drink. Like, why are
that's what I'm saying.
Why is it her that you want to use all of these fantasies on? You can't find nobody that's 35 or 40 that want to be free.
And that's where I was a hard stop. At the age, I was like, oh, I'm out of this.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah,
because it's nasty. It's perverted to me. It's perverted. I don't.
It gives a vibe. I don't
understand
of being a
where
predator.
It is, and very predatory. I don't understand where the desire for
it don't make sense to me. But
for a young woman like that, where that comes from. And then the way she
we ain't got time because we always got to go back to childhood, baby. But it ain't. So he got some stuff there to work on. Yes, he do. Because why it does. You have to understand that cognitively in that situation, something right. Something that 19-year-old, probably knew exactly what she was doing. I wouldn't doubt that this is, what Shannon Sharp's attorney is saying that it is. He's saying this is blackmail. But
the fact that you can expect that,
right?
You a grown ass man.
Exactly.
How did you get duped?
She's 19. I can expect that from a 19-year-old.
Exactly.
Y'all seen the latest scammer the docu-series? These girls are young, so I can understand that from my.
What they doing in there?
You are 60. 60. And there is something like I just didn't. This thing about you want to be with this young white girl, like all of that stuff. It was cringy, and I'm just like, what is it?
I was out.
It is cringy, and it just makes me feel like, damn, where is Shane in all this?
Donnie, yes.
Where is Shane? Like, are we not ashamed anymore?
Golly. Yeah, I don't know, but
very embarrassing.
I don't know how that's gonna.
I probably would have paid that little 10 mil. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, I mean, but
to keep her quiet.
Oh no, he offered her 10 mil. She didn't accept it.
She didn't accept it. She wanted more. Yeah. That's why she.
It was a shakedown, baby.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, he knew he was in trouble.
You better get ready to shimmy, because
the other part of that,
looking at you crazy, Shannon.
Her attorney that she has is the same one, Tony Buzzy. So that's the same one that had
he's wrong.
Filed, right, and so. His credibility is shaky, with a lot of that.
His credibility is shaky, but Shannon shouldn't be. I'm not saying that he should get shaken down. Like, well, actually, I don't care. I don't have no.
Well, here's the thing. No matter what we think, there are consequences and repercussions to everything that we do, and whether we think that it's right or wrong, like not coming from well, most of us probably are coming from a judgy place, but regardless, there are consequences to what you do. If you're going to fool around with somebody who's a third of your age, there are things that might come with that, even if there was no foul play.
That's true.
You are right.
So you dealing with it.
Yeah.
And you dealing with it.
Yeah. So we'll see how it shakes out when we come back here. But that's it for Shannon Sharp.
See how it shakes out.
Good.
He gonna get.
We'll keep you posted.
Good luck on that. I want to do one more shout out before I leave, because I did want to, this. We got little gays on here on our podcast, but there is, I watch a lot of YouTube shows now, just because I'm always on like that Apple TV and whatever else that we have or whatever. So, in all the different like shows on YouTube and show reviews and stuff like that. But anyway, I started watching this series. It's local. Well, it's a gay series. It's called Chasing. But they have different like cities that they go to. Like, so they have like, here it's called Chasing Dallas. They have like a Chasing Atlanta. I think they have a Chasing Orlando. But I wanted to give them a shout out because I've been watching the Chasing Dallas one like really since they started the whole series. They used to have another producer, but now they have a new person. The last couple of seasons they've had a new producer, and I just want to say that from a production standpoint now. The show, the people, the cast, it is, is a whole nother topic. They're cool now too. I kind of like the diversity that they have. They have the black gay community represented. They have the Mexican gay community represented, and they also have trans, on the show as well. They have a person on there. He says he's bisexual. And they had his girlfriend, is on the show and stuff like that. And so. From a that's what I said too. From a production standpoint, I just wanted to give a shout out to them because it's a really good YouTube series this season, especially from a production standpoint. This is put together well. The storylines are coming together so far, and so I wanted to let people know they are seen because we may have some some people that watch that show that listen to our show too, and so just want to make sure people are seen when they do something that I feel like from a career standpoint that is exceptional, or I can see the progress, in their product. And so I wanted to give a shout out to Chasing Dallas. Series is on YouTube. You can check it out. And yeah, if you want to learn more about, the gay culture and gay community and, kind of how we function, whether it be dysfunctional or not, it's a good place to start. You get a lot of stuff there. So I want to give a shout out to them. Any other shout outs they'll have or announcements before we get out of here?
Just Sinners. Check it out.
Yeah. I'll have my full review by the next time that we come back. All right. Do y'all remember? So we're gonna get out of here. Do y'all remember? Y'all know CeeLo, right? Y'all remember the song that
CeeLo Green?
Yes, CeeLo
absolutely.
Green.
What?
Y'all remember the song "Food for You"?
Absolutely, with Melanie Fiona.
Yes, okay.
Love that song.
So guess who's back? It's Melanie Fiona.
Come on, Melanie.
Yes. So we're gonna go out to Melanie Fiona in La Russa. It's called "Make Me Feel."
She sounds good.
She sounds like Melody Fiona, baby. Okay, love that. So get into that. So we're gonna go down from this place. We thank you guys so much as always for checking us out and tuning in. Thank you, Spider MZ Studios, for always rocking with us. And if all hearts and minds are clear, we're good. We're gonna go down and see you guys next time. And on that note,
Bye.